I'm only off a plane about an hour and a half ago to the moment of recording, but I've got a massive smile on my face, not only to be back and here on the channel, but because of the result tonight. Celtic 2, Feyenoord 1. Trust me to be away when we finally get a Champions League win at Celtic Park. I'm not going back. That's it. The jinx has been lifted. I can't go back. A great result for Celtic, and despite only getting to catch certain segments of today's game, I'm still going to talk about it anyway because there is a massive conversation to be had. Exciting just to talk about a win in the Champions League, even though it is sort of meaningless, but a win's a win. So let's talk about that. If you haven't already, please make sure to hit like and subscribe. It would be much appreciated as we try and get towards 50,000 subscribers. I'm back. As I said, I'm off the plane about an hour and a half ago. I managed to catch the majority of the second half. I managed to catch up with what happened in the first half. So, number one, apologies for the kind of mixed sort of match reaction you'll get here. Some of it might be informative, some of it might not be as informative. Also, number two, thank you to everybody who's been patient with me while I've been away. I was intending wholeheartedly to do some more videos while I was away, but it was just so tough. Where we were staying, no Wi-Fi, the data was awful. The match reactions that I did upload took about 4 or 5 hours to upload, and I knew then and there that it was just not going to happen for me managing to do daily videos. So I'm sorry about the quality dipping and the quantity of videos dipping. However, I did take a wee week off. I feel like it was deserved, and it's been a mixed week while I've been away, so don't worry, tomorrow on the channel we will dive back into things. But tonight we're here to talk about Celtic's first UEFA Champions League victory. I was going to say group stage victory, but victory in general since 2013. It's been a long wait, but the streak is over. Listen, you can talk all you like about tonight's game being meaningless, being pointless, about it being a dead rubber, and how you could look at tonight's game as a friendly game. You know, Celtic knew their fate, Feyenoord knew their fate also. There wasn't anything to actually play for in that game, except for maybe a little bit of pride. But for Celtic, there was something to play for, and you can't take that away. You know, you can't pretend it wasn't there. And I know there'll be plenty of Rangers fans and opposition fans and Scottish football fans that aren't Celtic fans who will say, oh, you're creating this wee narrative to make yourselves feel better and all that. But no, genuinely, this is huge for Celtic. I'm not going to kind of overdo it, and I'm not going to say that it's, you know, game changing and that's us now on the right track. God, we'll probably go into the Champions League next year and go down the same path as we always do. But the psychological weight that has been lifted off the shoulders of Celtic this evening cannot be undermined. That had to happen. It's been 10 years in the making. It had to come, and tonight was the perfect opportunity for it. Now, dead rubber or not, a win is a win. And the resilience that Celtic showed in the game to make sure they got the win is one of the most impressive parts in tonight's game, because honestly, when I was sitting watching it in the back of the car on my phone on the way back to Glasgow, when we conceded that equaliser, for as much as it didn't affect me because the group was done anyway, I wasn't too disheartened. There was that kind of sigh of disappointment that left my body, knowing that we had a chance there to take 3 points, and I was like, well, that's it, gone. And then in the sudden aftermath of their goal, I really thought Feyenoord would have probably pushed up and won the game, knowing us. But there was resilience in the Celtic team tonight. And for a Celtic team that is so disjointed at the minute and lacks real quality, for them to dig deep and find that winning goal, it is really nice to see. And despite what people will tell you about tonight's game being meaningless, pointless, whatever, it's great. And I'm just glad to see us get that out the window now, that streak, and so we can, you know, listen, who knows, maybe in 15 or 16 Champions League games time we'll be having the exact same conversation, but for now, that streak is done, and that's massive for Brendan Rodgers, for this group of players. You know, I'm not going to sit and rewrite how this group stages went for Celtic, because listen, we weren't good enough. We weren't, over the course of the 6 games, we weren't good enough. But tonight, and many other examples in games over this 6-game stretch, Celtic have shown that they have the quality and that they can compete. The first game against Feyenoord, we threw it away going down to 10 men. The second game at Celtic Park against Lazio, or Atletico, can't remember now, who was first. Anyway, the Atletico game, We got a draw, and you could argue we deserved to win it. Lazio at Celtic Park, we were really unlucky. You know, a 90th minute winner, and, you know, Luis Palma scored to look what looked as though a winner for us in that game. You know, the most disappointing performances were the away ones. You know, Atletico, Lazio, take them away for a minute. We just simply weren't good enough in those games. But there is enough evidence across the 6 games to suggest that with the right quality added to this side and what we showed tonight on that park, the resilience and the character that's in this Celtic side, we can look forward to Europe. As long as the board backs the vision of what us fans see. And that's what I hope tonight can do in general for Celtic Football Club. I hope that it can possibly wake Peter Lawwell up, that it can possibly wake Dermot and Ross Desmond up, that it can possibly wake Michael Nicholson up to suggest that there is something for us to try and compete for there and some pride in European competition, rather than being the whipping boys year in, year out. Do I think that's going to be the case? Well, that's a completely different story because we've been here a million times with the Celtic board. But tonight was a nice reminder of the fact that Celtic can compete. And who knows, maybe if we were going into this game with something to play for, the course of the game, the result of the game would have went completely differently. But still, I can't stop saying it enough. A win is a win. It doesn't take away from the problems at the club at the minute, absolutely not. We weren't good enough against Kilmarnock at the weekend. We haven't been good enough for a few weeks now. Performances have been concerning. And I think even in certain periods of tonight's game, we've seen some of the same stale football that we've been seeing over the past few weeks. It wasn't a complete first minute to 90th minute fantastic performance from Celtic by any means tonight. The issues are still there, clear to address. This doesn't undo any of that, but it is nice to inject some positivity, because when you do go and load up Twitter and you do load up social media and you listen to fans anywhere right now, I came in the first time, my dad had a massive smile on his face, and that's great. You know, a wee bit of positivity being injected into the Celtic support is exactly what we need just now. We are looking at a title race potentially. So to get some confidence off the back of beating the Dutch champions in a side who we know are very, very good, it will hopefully do wonders for this group of players. So there is positives to take away from tonight. There's no point in looking at it as the meaningless victory that on paper it is. There is so much that stems from that, and Celtic just need to keep building from it. You know, football wouldn't be fun if we were constantly negative and pessimistic all the time. And trust me, you've seen it from me myself. We've had a lot to be negative about. We've had a lot to be pessimistic about. But when you can be positive and when you can be optimistic, you may as well be. And tonight, that's what Celtic gave us. I must say that, you know, I'll probably chuck my season book next year, or at least my Champions League tickets next year. I can't believe it. I've been to every Champions League group stage game from the last time we played, and it was 13-14, wasn't it? So I won from 2013-14, it wasn't the Ajax game, and every Champions League game since, and I have not seen Celtic win at Celtic Park. And then the one time that I can't physically make it because I'm on a flight back for Tenerife, we go and win. If that isn't a sign of what to do next year, I don't know what is. I am honestly a bit annoyed. A little bit annoyed. But listen, I'm chuffed for the team, I'm chuffed for the players, I'm chuffed for the manager. And hopefully it's something to build off going into this new format next season. So, I mean, talking about the game itself, let's do that, shall we? The starting 11, I missed the starting 11 announcement because I was mid-air. But when I came back, when we landed, the first thing I done was go and check the team sheet, and wow, Stephen Welsh was back in. A couple of players that I didn't maybe expect to see in the starting 11 this evening. We were obviously forced into an early change with Tomoki going off and Bernardo coming on. It was a team that, you know, we were looking at on paper going, oh no, this could be a long night. But they handled things well, it seems, in the first half. Obviously, the first 45 is where I can't really speak too much on because I didn't get to see it. I've only got to see highlights back. But going off the stats and such, it looked as though Celtic had a reasonably good first half, a better first half, you could suggest. And we were probably in a position that we deserved to be in going into half-time. Luis Palma converts another penalty. Great. That's just good news in its own for me. Back on the scoring penalties bandwagon. But yeah, like, you know, first half, 1-0 up at half-time. You're just hoping going into the second half that Celtic don't repeat the same problems that they've done in numerous Champions League games. And that's exactly what happens when we give Feyenoord the equaliser, isn't it? Let's just jump to the equaliser, shall we? The state of the defending was abysmal. It almost made me want to ask the captain to take flight again. Really poor goal to concede. A ball over the top to an unmarked player. And it just looked a little bit shambolic. Everybody was stuck on who or where to mark on in that kind of final third for Feyenoord. And then obviously your man sitting at the back post, and it's as easy as you like for him to finish it. He's never going to miss. And that's where I was scared of the heads dropping for Celtic. I was really scared that, you know, we do what we usually do and allow them back into the game, and then allow them to take control of the game. And for a couple of minutes, it kind of looked like that. They went back up the park, they had an opportunity, but Celtic handled it well. I think they handled the pressure in that moment, and especially when you look at the 11 on the park at that moment in time, that ain't a Champions League quality starting 11, or 11, I should say. It was not Celtic's best 11, but they handled it well. And we got what we deserved, I think, in the end with that winning goal. And the way that we get the winning goal, it was really well worked. And Lagerbielke, hats off to you, my son. In 15 minutes tonight, I have seen enough to suggest that Gustav Lagerbielke should probably never have been dropped to the likes of Nat Phillips or Stephen Welsh. I honestly, if I had one question to ask Brendan Rodgers right now, off or on the record, I would just love to go, why? Why are Lagerbielke and Nawrocki not getting into the team? There's got to be a reason, because you don't want to be hit with a normal, they're not ready yet. You know, the kind of nice answers that they give the media. No, I want to know the exact reasons, because I'm telling you, in 15 minutes tonight, Gustav Lagerbielke showed me enough to suggest that he should be starting alongside Cameron Carter-Vickers or Liam Scales, whoever it may be. It was brilliant in that 15 minutes. His stats are brilliant. I think he won all his aerial duels. A lot of tackling percentage was really, really good. He obviously scores the goal, which gets us all 3 points. What is happening for him not to be in the team? I don't understand. But yeah, I mean, it's a massive goal for him. He needs that. And hopefully it's enough for the manager to go, right, okay, we'll give him another run of games in the December fixture list. Because I want to see more minutes for Gustav Lagerbielke. I want to see him on the park more. And I want to understand what are the positives of his game, what are the negatives of his game, what needs worked on, and what's good. You know, we've not had an awful lot of opportunities to see that in recent months. But in 15 minutes tonight, I thought it was good. It gets us the winning goal in the back of the car. I let off a massive scream for a meaningless game. I treated it like a massive 90th minute winner. And so did everybody in that stadium tonight, which is what I love to see. And you know what? Fair play if you went tonight, because I know a lot of people didn't. Including me, because I couldn't go. I would have went if I could have. But fair play if you went, because what a moment to get there. I must say, I was impressed with what I seen of young Mitchell Frame as well. I thought he looked decent. Obviously, I don't know where the chances will come for him now, if they'll be few and far between. I don't know where his status is in this 25-man squad, which is more than 25 at the minute, to be fair. But I don't know where that'll go from here. You know, it's one of those ones that you don't want to throw them into the deep end and then people are like, okay, he's not good enough. But then again, you want to see them build on games like they've done tonight. So, yeah, Mitchell Frame, I was impressed with that. And ultimately, I was impressed with what I did get to catch. And what was always going to be a tough game. It was never going to be a spectacle of a game. Look, listen, you can't underestimate how important that is psychologically for Celtic. It's a massive 3 points for us. Right then, I'm going to wrap it up there because I don't want to just waffle on for a game that I haven't actually managed to catch in its entirety. I know you'll be saying you probably should have been doing a match reaction, Ryan, but I want to celebrate, I want to enjoy it. So I'm going to go down the stairs and I'm going to stick on the 90 minutes, and I'll be back tomorrow with a probably more in-depth conversation about it. But overall, that's it. The Champions League is over. There's no European football for Celtic after Christmas, which is ultimately a disappointment, especially with Brendan Rodgers being so vocal on how that was the main driving factor and ambition for him to return to Celtic. All you can really hope for is that it is the kind of kick up the arse that the board need to try and drive us forward and invest in what is a club that has the two. You know, I'm not even going to get started on all the Copenhagen stuff, for example. We'll talk about it all tomorrow, but I hope that is a kick up the arse for us to get ourselves together and try and challenge and be a formidable team in Europe. But aye. Right, if you've enjoyed, like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.